Alright, so here I'm going to tell you about parallelograms that have opposite angles in them. Okay? What I mean by opposite angles is the two angles that you see are across from each other diagonally. They're not connected by a side. So for instance, A is consecutive with D. They're connected by a side, so these are not opposite. A is also connected to B, so these are not opposite. However, A is not connected to C. They're diagonally across from each other. So what we know is that opposite angles are congruent. All right? Opposite angles are congruent. That's the rule that you're going to have to remember. Okay? So same thing with D. Whatever D is, well, it's consecutive with A, it's next to it. It's consecutive with C, but diagonally is B. So D and B are also congruent. So if I wanted to, I could put my congruent marks in there. So let's work with what we have. We know that A is congruent to C. Another word for congruent is equal. So what I'm going to do with A and C is, since they are the same, I'm going to set them equal. Because what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the number that I can put in here for X and here that will make these two expressions be the exact same number. So let's set these equal and find out what X is. So I'm going to say 1 plus 21X equals 22X minus 3. Alright? We'll solve this. I need X alone. I either need it alone on the left or alone on the right. It doesn't matter which side. Since I can't combine these and I can't combine these, excuse me, I'm going to get rid of one of my x's. I usually choose to get rid of whichever x is smaller. Alright? So I'm going to get rid of the 21x instead of the 22x. To get rid of positive 21x, I have to subtract it from both sides. Subtract it once from the left side of the equal sign, over here. If I subtract it from the left side, I have to subtract it from the right side. So also right here. Notice that I'm putting it beneath the 22x and not the negative 3 because this has an x in it, so does this. I couldn't take 21x away from 3, it wouldn't make sense. So on the left side, my 21x's will cancel out. So we're going to start from the left and go over. To bring down my 1, because that's still here, equals. If you wanted to, you could put it right beneath, it doesn't really matter. I'm just getting rid of that space because there's nothing there anymore. 22x minus 21x, well that's 1x. If you don't want to write the 1, you can leave it out, it's implied. I have decided to write it this time. And then bring down the negative 3, and the minus 3. Alright? We still need to get x alone. We need to isolate it. Well, right now, we have 1 times x, subtract 3. Well, we want x alone, so we have to get rid of this negative 3. Well, the way to get rid of a negative 3 or a subtraction of 3 is to do the opposite. Instead, add 3 to both sides of the equal sign. If we do it to the right, we have to do it to the left too. So I add 3 here as well. And these will cancel, leaving me with 1 plus 3, which is 4. Always work straight down right beneath. My equal sign comes down, and I get 1x. And that's it. We don't really have to divide by 1, because this is just x equals 4. If you do divide by 1, though, you're still going to get that x is 4. It's not going to change the answer. Alright? So we know that x equals 4. But we're not done. We need to make sure that we go back and plug that in. Alright? So I wanted to measure for angle A, D, B, and C. Well, if x is 4, this says 1 plus 21 times 4. Well, 21 times 4, that is 84. And 84 plus 1 is 85. So angle A is 85 degrees. And if you wanted to, you could put it down here, or wherever is convenient, wherever it looks nice. My picture's a little crowded right now. Angle C, well, we still know that x is 4, so I'm going to plug this in. 22 times x, or 22 times 4, well that's 88. And 88 minus 3, that means that angle C is also 85. 88 minus 3 would be 85. Alright, last thing we have to do, get angle D and angle B. Well, if you watch the video on consecutive angles, you should know that any two consecutive angles, any two that are next to each other, any two that are attached by a side, they add up to 180. So A plus D should be 180. 85 plus something is 180. We'll work backwards. Instead of trying to figure out what the number is, subtract. 180 minus 85, that's 95. 95 plus 85 is 180. 95 plus 85 is 180. 85 plus, again, 95 is 180. And you'll notice that the opposite angles, they are congruent. These are congruent, they're both 95. These are congruent, they're both 95. If you really want to go the extra mile to check it, since it's a four-sided figure, we should know that the sum should be 360, And 85 plus 95 plus 85 plus 95 is 360. That's how you work with parallelograms that have opposite angles.